What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, back here to bring you guys 5 different growth stocks I'm looking at buying in April 2021. Now, you guys might remember I'd done a similar video in January of this year about 5 stocks to buy. And I'll be honest with you, one of these stocks is still on the list, and it was on the list in January. Now, with all of these growth stocks I give you guys today, we're going to look at a lot of interesting news. We're going to look at potential price points, nice buying points. We're going to look at all the different information you guys need to understand why you should be investing in these stocks going forward. But before we do that, people, you guys know the drill already. Drop that thumbs up. I'm recording this for you guys on my Saturday night, late Saturday night. So show me you appreciate the videos, show me you appreciate the effort, and drop that thumbs up. Also for the YouTube algorithm, please do leave a comment. We're getting the reactions when it comes to comments is getting a bit weird these days. So just drop a comment and it makes it better for the YouTube algorithm. Also, make sure you guys share these videos with your friends so we can get them out to more people, help more people understand more about the stock market, help more people learn about investing, get involved with investing, multiplying their money, and doing what's best for their financial future. Lastly, but not least, please make sure you hit the red button below if you have not already subscribed to the channel. This is the Money Management. I create a lot more videos just like this to help you when it comes to finances, investing, the stock market, multiplying your money, all different kinds of things to do with money. But yeah, please hit that red button below. But now for today's video, the topic of today's video, I'm going to give you guys 5 different growth stocks which have high potential, not only for April, but for the rest of the year as well. And to be honest, going forward after 2021, so in further years to come. And actually now, off the top of my head, I just remembered another one. So I'm going to give you guys 6 different stocks today. So there's a bonus one for you guys at the end of the video. So number 1, Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. Now I've spoken about this many times on my watch list for my 0 to 100K challenge, what stocks to buy. I've spoken about this a lot. And this is a high growth company, which right now the stock is sitting at just above $23. And the company itself, just so you have a little bit of a brief background, it's a software company which specializes in data analytics. It is also part of the ARK Innovation ETF, ticker symbol ARKK. And you guys might have heard this is an ETF, a stock that I really like, especially at the price point it's at now. But Palantir, well, this stock actually saw recent highs of $45, and honestly, right now it's sold off a lot since then, and like I said, it's sitting in the low 20s. But let me tell you something about this stock. This stock sitting in the low 20s, personally, I believe this is a bargain. And if you can get it lower than $20, if you can get it in the teens, like late 19s, even if it's at $20, you're stealing money, honestly. Palantir is an unbelievable stock, and quite frankly, the fact that it's sitting at low 20s right now when it was sitting at just over $45, literally a month ago, should tell you enough. Of course, the stock has sold off heavily, since that point, but I need you guys to remember this thing. 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago, it was around just under $10. So think back to a stock like, for example, NEO. NEO was sitting around $3 or $4 this time last year. It shot up to highs of $60, $62, $64, late 2020, beginning of 2021, and now it's back down in the 30s. Palantir was around $8, $9 last year in March, April. Guess what? It shot up to highs of $45 late December 2020, beginning of January 2021. So now it's sold off. It's sitting in the $22 range, $23 range. And I think that this is another stock that could be seeing highs of $40, $50 in the next few months. Going forward, into 2022, I don't see this stock sitting anywhere near the 40s. I see it sitting a lot higher. Of course, nobody can tell what's going to happen with the stock. When it comes to these kind of stocks, this is something you should look out for. Their financials, what they're doing with their earnings, who's investing in it. All these factors are actually quite influential in determining the price of the stock and also whether you should invest or not. So I briefly mentioned ARK Invest, and you might not know this, but just over a week ago, ARK Invest actually bought 780,000 shares of Palantir. So, like I did mention, that shows you something. ARK, when they invest in something, is usually at the right time or around the right time, and usually they know something that we don't know. When ARK Invest is buying something, I'm not saying you should be buying, but I'm saying you should be having a look and maybe just finding out a little bit more about the stock. One thing I do know off the top of my head, Palantir actually hold a couple billion in cash right now, which is a good sign. When it goes into financials, maybe I'll use a different video to dive into that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Palantir. One stock I'm definitely looking at buying in April 2021. 2, Tattooed Chef, ticker symbol TTCF. Now this is a plant-based food company, which I did involve in my January video when I said 5 stocks to buy in 2021. But Tattooed Chef is still on that list. And the reason being, it's sitting below $20. It seems to not be able to break this resistance around, I say, $26, $27 mark. And it also seems to be bouncing around a strong support around $20, I guess, late $19 mark. So Tattooed Chef, just a little bit of background. I've talked about this stock multiple times, but it's led by Sam Galetti, who is literally an expert in the food industry. He's been involved in the food industry around 35 years, and this guy has done a lot in the food industry. You guys should go and check him out, do a little bit more research on him. Added to that, he has his daughter involved in the company since about 7-8 years ago. She's been influential in the gains and the growth of the company itself. So, this is not all it takes for you to buy a stock, of course. When it comes to buying a stock or investing in a stock, it's not purely about, who leads the company, that kind of stuff. But like I said, Sam Galetti does know his stuff when it comes to the food industry, and Tattooed Chef is involved in the food industry. So there's a pretty good combination right there. Now, Tattooed Chef actually recently announced earnings, and it was a pretty solid earnings. So in December 2020, they announced a revenue of 39.6 million, which was a 47.74% year-on-year growth. They announced a net income of 64.56 million, which was over 3,800% year-on-year growth. They announced a diluted earnings per share of 0.88, which was over 8,700% growth year over year. And finally, they announced a net profit margin of 163%, which was a 2,573% year over year growth. So for those of you in America, you might have been seeing a bit more Tattooed Chef, when it comes to frozen food. They make a few of the good foods I've heard about are the burgers, the cauliflower pizza, the acai bowls, foods like that. So I know they're becoming more and more popular in stores and also more and more popular amongst customers. I do believe that this company is an interesting one because, when it comes to Beyond Meat, a similar plant-based food company, a lot of people see them as a rival. I'm not 100% sure they are a rival, but of course they do target the same audience, which is, vegan users, vegan consumers. So it's a bit difficult to tell. But if you are looking to get in a stock which involves the plant-based food industry, Tattooed Chef is definitely one good one to look into right now. Like I mentioned, sitting at $19, I don't see how it stays here for too much longer. I do believe that going forward, it will rise. I just don't know when, because, January, if it was sitting at $19, I probably would have loaded up on it. It did start to rise to what I think is the resistance around $26. And again, it has dropped down heavily since it hit those levels of $26. So we're not really sure what's going on here. But if you look at the chart, that $20 price point is kind of where the 200-day SMA line is. So I feel like it can't really dip below $19 much more. And for those of you who are new to the market, I do believe at this price point, it is a good investment for those of you who want to buy and hold long term. Also, if it comes to just being involved in a healthier food-based company, again, Tattooed Chef is definitely one to look at. And when it comes to an entry point for Tattooed Chef, if you told me back in January that in April you'd have an entry point at under $20, I probably would have taken that. So go and check out Tattooed Chef. 3, FUBO TV, ticker symbol FUBO. Now I've been talking about this stock since the beginning of the year, and I have also swing traded this stock, traded options on this stock, but this stock is one that just keeps growing. Now, you guys may know FUBO TV, you might not, but I'll just briefly explain it. It is a streaming service company, and they're mainly focused their services around sports, but also entertainment, news. And it's a company where you'll be paying a subscription to receive their services. I believe it's around $65 per month. But this is the interesting part about FUBO. Like I mentioned, it's a streaming service, but it's not all they're doing going forward. They're trying to add sports betting into the game, sports betting into their services. And when I talk about sports betting, not just your regular sports betting about, who's going to win the game, who's going to score, who's going to do this and that. They are also trying to add live sports betting as well. So literally who's going to score this kick, who's going to do this, who's going to do that right there and then in a moment. That's literally live sports betting. If they can get this into their services, if they can add this into their services going forward, this is going to be huge for the company. I'm telling you, revenue is going to increase, cash flow is going to increase. This is going to be massive for the company. As you guys know, especially in America, sports gambling, sports betting is becoming bigger and bigger. If they can integrate this in-game sports betting, it's going to be massive for the company. This stock right now is sitting at just around $22 price point. And in December, it actually shot up to highs of $62. This was around a couple of days before Christmas. So compare the levels back then to where it is now. How I made money in the stock was buying put options on it, and you guys might have seen it sell off heavily in December, January, but also recovered. So when you can get into this stock below the $22 price point, even in the low 20s, below $25, this is a great deal. Actually, looking back a couple months ago, my price entry points with this stock was around $27 price point. Now, look where it's sitting now. I don't really have any excuses not to be buying at least 100 shares of this stock. When it comes to streaming services, FUBO TV is an excellent stock. But now adding, the gambling into it, potentially in the future, this could be amazing for the company, like I've said. And actually, when it comes to gambling and sports betting, I do like DraftKings, which I'll maybe make a video about in the future. But yeah, FUBO TV could be one to be joining that list for the gambling industry. The subscription growth is there, the number of users is growing, but people, there is one big problem with this stock. They have some pretty messed up financials. Q3 earnings, they reported about minus over 200%. Q4 earnings 2020, also minus, negative 250% or so. So their financials are a little bit messed up short term. Long term, we'll have to see what happens. But in the low 20s price range, I can't really complain. I'll be honest with you guys, when it comes to stocks, sometimes the financials are not the biggest deal. When companies are starting out to try new methods out, test new industries, try new things out, add new services to what they already have going, their business model can grow and it does start to change the financials eventually. I'm not saying that the financials are going to be amazing within the next couple of years. That's not the case. But just know that they do have some pretty messed up financials right now. So do be aware of that. 4, Square, ticker symbol SQ. Now this one I've talked about very briefly, but I talked about it more in the free stock Discord I have going on. Square is a point of sales based business model. So it's an online payment provider. So for those of you who are business owners, when it comes to selling to customers, Square is something that you can use. So it's related to credit card processing for those who run businesses. So Square is something you can use when it comes to getting payments. Again, it's point of sale related. So anyone who's worked with Shopify might know point of sale. I've worked with Shopify, so I know how it works when it comes to point of sale. But that's a little bit about Square's business model. Now, there's something that really interested me about Square recently, and it is the fact that they're buying up Bitcoin. So when a stock or a company or anyone is buying up Bitcoin, this automatically catches my eye. I believe there's a big future for Bitcoin. The price point that Bitcoin's sitting at right now, just under 60K. I do believe by the end of the year, it would have almost doubled. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Square have been buying up Bitcoin recently, which is a good sign in my eyes. And Square actually buys Bitcoin for 2 different purposes. One purpose is to buy it as an asset, as an investment on their balance sheet. And second is it lets its Cash App users buy and sell Bitcoin on the platform. So they have 2 different ways of making money by Bitcoin. And I believe that Square itself as a company is a stock which is going to see good growth, see high growth going forward. Now I want to focus on the actual price of stock right now. The stock is sitting at a price point of around $229 right now. This stock can fluctuate a bit strangely, but you can play the stock in a few different ways actually. When it comes to buying and hold long term, yeah, in the 220s, anywhere below that is a good deal. When it comes to trading it short term, you can swing it. We had some guys in the Discord this week. Shout out to Matty. Me and him spoke Monday, and he placed a put option on it. It did dip down to the $202, $203 resistance that we were discussing. And of course, after that, it hit that resistance, it started to rise throughout the rest of the week. And Square is currently broadening the offers it has for products and services to their customers, which is always important when it comes to growth. Now, Square is a very interesting stock because, like I mentioned, it's sold off heavily recently. But Wednesday, for example, it had a 7% gain in a day. When it comes to these kind of stocks, they can move quickly, in either direction. So you do have to be aware of that. But Square is one I do like going forward. And it currently has around a $250 price target from Quark. I do believe we'll see it hit that price target a lot sooner than a lot of people expect. But who's to know? Again, no one can predict these things. Another thing which I found quite interesting, which got me really interested in the stock, was the fact that Square are trying to acquire Tidal. You guys might know Tidal, a huge influencer in the music game. And Tidal is a platform that if Square acquire, and if that were to happen, then they would have a lot bigger hold on the entertainment/music industry. But we'll see what happens going forward. 5, CrowdStrike, ticker symbol CRWD. So CrowdStrike was founded around 10 years ago, and it is a software as a service company. Now they focus in cybersecurity, and they're also starting to incorporate more artificial intelligence into their business model. So people, cybersecurity is getting bigger. Artificial intelligence is also getting bigger. So when you're incorporating artificial intelligence into your cybersecurity models that you already have, I don't think a lot can go wrong. It is quite intriguing because this is a stock which is sitting now in the $180 range. And I think that, between the $170 and $180 range, it's an absolute steal. Between $180 and $200, it's a buy. But we'll see what happens going forward. Now, CrowdStrike reported earnings 2 days ago, and it was a strong earnings report. So that really had me thinking, going forward, there's still a lot of growth potential there. Recurring revenue increased, the non-GAAP subscription gross margin increased, the earnings was positive, and it was up year on year. And they also have just over $97.4 million in free cash flow. With CrowdStrike, another thing that's helping them right now when it comes to growth potential is they keep adding new customers each and every quarter. Every time we see their earnings reports, we're seeing better things, we're seeing bigger growth, we're seeing more positive signs. The 52-week range for the stock price itself, $55.85 up to $251.28. So there's quite a big wide range there. Like I mentioned, right now it's sitting at the $187 price point. And I think around here it's a buy. I was telling you guys in the Discord, and I think also my 0 to 100K challenge, that between $170 and $175, this is a buy. Unfortunately, I did not buy when I should have. But yeah, it's just increased a couple percent since there. So it's still okay. You're not missed out on anything just yet. Just the last thing about CrowdStrike is You know, when it comes to cybersecurity, none of us want to get hacked, right? So security is important to us. Also, antivirus systems are important, which is again something that CrowdStrike are really good at. I don't believe that, you know, going forward, we're going to see this stock fall off any lower than 170 mark. If it does, then I'm going to be loading up on it. It's pretty simple. That is it for CrowdStrike. And last but not least, your bonus stock for today, number 6, Skills, ticker symbol SKLZ. So Skills, you guys may have heard of this. This is a mobile gaming company, and this stock has sold off almost 60% since its highs in mid-February. So right now the stock is sitting at just under $19, and you know, just reminds me of a couple of the other stocks I've mentioned. They were high growth stocks which sold off heavily since February. Skills is one of those stocks, one of those companies that is very interesting purely because of some specific details. So this company's active users are actually spending more time on the Skills app than those who are on Snapchat, those on YouTube, those on Facebook, those on TikTok, so many other different platforms. So please understand what I'm saying here. I'm not saying they have more users on these platforms. I'm not saying they have more active users. I'm saying that Skills users are spending more time on the Skills platform than YouTube users are on YouTube, Snapchat users are on Snapchat, TikTok users are on TikTok. So what does that tell you? Not that people are getting addicted, but maybe they are getting addicted, but it tells you that Skills users are very active on their platform. Now, when it comes to the stock itself, any important news, there's one thing I'd like to point out. Just a few days ago, ARK Invest bought over 725,000 shares of Skills. Again, when I talk about ARK Invest, well, this time talking about ARKW, but when it comes to ARK, Kathy Woods knows what she's doing. And like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Palantir, when ARK are buying something, you need to keep your eyes wide open and your ears open as well. But it's important to note that obviously Skills hold some weight in the ARK ETF, ARKW. Now, when it comes to their financials, they're doing pretty well. You know, growth-wise, they're doing well. Revenue-wise, they're doing well. Profit margin-wise, they're doing well. The EBITDA is good. I think that Skills is pretty undervalued right now, sitting below the $20 price point. Again, compared to its highs of $56, $57, you know, last month. This is another one of those stocks where you're like, okay, it has a lot of potential of room to grow. It has sold off heavily, but it still has a huge amount of room to grow. You know, I like this stock in the low 20s, and if it's below 20 as it is right now, then honestly I should be buying it up. I shouldn't even be hesitating on buying 100 shares of this stock. I have had Skills on my watch list for a couple months, and during that time, like I mentioned, I had it in the low 20s. I said, you know, if it goes below $23, I'll buy it, etc., etc. It is now below the $19 price point, so I think it's a strong buy. One last thing about Skills is they have 260 million cash on hand right now and no debt. Again, that's great for the financials. So that is 6 different stocks I'm looking at buying in April 2021. It's going to be an interesting month, you know, as every single month is in the stock market. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about what stocks you're looking at. Let me know if you'd like me to break down certain stocks. Let me know if you'd like an individual video on any of these stocks. Please let me know. You know, I like these stocks. I've done my research on these stocks. I think they have a lot of huge potential. Some of them have, honestly, some unbelievable room to run throughout April, but also throughout the rest of the year. I've no doubt when we come back to this video in a few months, most of these stocks, if not all, will be up again. Lastly, I want to say, check out that stock option starter pack. My link is in the description. It's that first link there. Also check out the Discord because we do discuss stocks like this and we do it on a daily basis. And apart from that, check out all those other links in the description. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. That's it for me today. I got stocks to be chasing. You got money to be making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace. Game over.